Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of international rugby. This one taking place between Australia and Georgia. Now, we recently finished New Zealand versus Fiji, which wasn't a very close game, unfortunately. But this one perhaps could be that little bit closer. We saw Wales take on the Reds yesterday. That was a fantastic game of rugby. I am hoping this one is going to be extremely similar. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think will win this contest? We will look through, first of all, at the starting lineups. Isaac Kailea gets the big opportunity to start this game rather than coming off the bench. Billy Pollard at number 2 with Alan Aratoa slotting in as the 3. Nick Frost and Angus Blythe will be the locking duo. I feel like that is a combination that we will see for the Wallabies quite a bit, not just throughout this game, but also for the Rugby Championship. Rob Bellatini at number 6 with Fraser McWright slotting in as the 7, and then Harry Wilson there as the number 8. Tate McDermott and Ben Donaldson in the 19 channel. Paisami and Ikitau in the midfield. And then Darby Lancaster, who's got a ton of pace and a ton of skill. He is there at number 11. Felipe Dalgunu out on the other wing at number 14. And Tom Wright at number 15. For the Georgians, they've got a few changes compared to what they did have for their last contest, which we did call on the channel in terms of the channel anyway. That was in the Rugby World Cup that we did see them in action up against the Fijians. Tabudzadze is still out on that wing with Ninashvili actually moving back to 15 for this contest. Last time we called a game with Georgia on the channel, he was actually playing out on the left wing. Tabudzadze in the midfield alongside Kvizaladze at number 12, Matkava and Alania as the 19 combo, and then also some massive physical forwards. You always expect it with the Georgians. This game will be no different. They will certainly want to bring that physicality. But looking through at what these two sides experienced recently for the Australians, they had a win over Wales side 25 points to 16. Then alongside that, we did see the win for them up against Wales in their next match. Many improvements at times throughout that game, but there's still not really that 80-minute performance, I would say, for the Australians as of yet. So hopefully we get to see that in this game up against the Georgians. Now, these two sides actually did play off in the Rugby World Cup. Namibia, they played the Portuguese. That's not right. That should be Georgia versus Fiji. They played last week, and it was an entertaining game in the end, ladies and gents. But, yeah, that is a little bit wrong in terms of the stat. But nonetheless, we are ready to jump into this contest almost. The two sides making their way out of the tunnel. We do get ready for kickoff. Aussie says Moa Hunters. Hi, all, and Hamish says Robert. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well and hope you are excited for this matchup. It's a lot earlier for the kickoff than we are used to seeing. Who is the team for Australia? For this one, they have got Ben Donaldson. So I'm curious to see how he goes. No Noah Lolesio in the starting lineup. Instead, he will be making his way off the bench in this matchup. Georgia, you just look at them and they are a physical side. When you see them in the tunnels, I see Ninashvili in there. A couple pretty impressive mustaches on this Georgian side. Hello, says Marius. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. And do let me know your score predictions, ladies and gentlemen, for this game. We will mention the benches as well while we are at it. For the Australians, they have got Nick White, Noah Lolesio, and Andrew Callaway as their back replacements. Alongside that, they have got the forward replacements of Nassar, Hodgman, Ngor, Hooper, and Williams. Off the bench for Georgia, Lopanidze, he was getting actually quite a bit of starting minutes throughout the Rugby World Cup. These two sides did play off in that World Cup competition. Just going to quickly get the exact score for that one. Rugby World Cup, Australia versus Georgia. It was, where is it? 35-15 in favour of the Australians. Now, I believe that was one of the only games Australia actually won, or maybe they won up against the Portuguese as well, but either way, they did get their worst ever finish in a Rugby World Cup competition, so they certainly will not want that again, that is for sure. But two sides making their way out, getting ready for the welcome to country as well as the national anthem, and then we are going to be underway for this exciting matchup. But the crowd looks like it's decent for this game. I feel like the winning that we've seen from the Australians up against the Welsh maybe having a certain impact on people going to the games and starting to show up for this Wallabies side. They've got a British and Irish Lions tour not too far away. This one also not a mile off starting either, but it is at Allianz Stadium. It's like a nice afternoon, only going to be about a 3:50 or 4 p.m. kickoff for them in Australia. Uncle... Oh no, I didn't hear the rest of that name. And he is going to do the welcome to country, ladies and gentlemen. Wallaby number 600 and something. Uncle Lloyd Walker it was, who was going to be doing the welcome to country. Of course, this is something that they do at every Australian match as well, for anyone who doesn't know, which is why normally when they have a scheduled time for the game to start, such as this one, how it was going to start 6 minutes ago, there is normally a bit more of a delay. And we have got there very windy here in Sydney today, says Marius. Yeah, the flags are going a little bit in the background, so perhaps we will see a bit of a trickier game when it comes to the kicking, but I feel like that might actually benefit the Georgians because they will play a more kicking-orientated game. But then their goal kicking may be affected throughout this matchup just because normally for Georgia, we do see them get a lot of three-pointers. They did that up against the Fijians. They got 4 in total for that one. We are not too far away from the national anthems for these two sides, ladies and gents. Also, I should mention the next games that are coming up in the future for Georgia. In the November internationals, they will be playing up against the Italians as well as Tonga. They do not have confirmed dates or confirmed time for that one up against the Tongans. For the Australians, they've got a pretty busy time ahead. Unlike the sides in the Northern Hemisphere, this is when the Southern Hemisphere sides do start their pretty much season. They've had the Rugby Championship as something that they want to set their eyes on, the Aussies, for quite some time, and their first game is only 21 days away. That will be up against the South Africans. Now, I should mention these games are not all the next ones after that. They have still got games up against the All Blacks, Argentina, and also the South Africans again, but these are the November internationals that the Australians have, so they will not face Italy, and they also will not face France. Those are the two sides that they don't have in their international window, but we are about to hear the Georgian national anthem. We know the physicality that this Georgian side can bring. We just know it's going to be a good game as well when these two sides take to the field. I think we're going to see physicality in the forward packs, and we're going to see quite a bit of speed in the back line of the Aussies. There were times in the last game where they actually started to find some very, very nice momentum. They had a great lead up against the Welsh, but they did throw it away, unfortunately, just by making some silly errors along that journey of 80 minutes. In the end, Wales almost were able to fight back. We have got Aussie, oi, oi, oi. There's what country getting World Cup after the USA? I'm not actually too sure who 2035 is going to be involved in. Where is Georgia anyway? Says Josh. So Georgia, I want to make sure I get this correct because they're right on the, I believe they're on the border of Asia and also Europe, but I think they count as Europe, if I am correct. But yeah, they're right on the border of being also a part of Asia. We have go there, just got 13 plus on my multi, but I got Australia, don't normally say that stuff, says Drink on the Moon. And we have go there, Aussie. And what is, says Daniel. And there as well, Australia will be strong as possession. I recommend we'll be winning it by 42-19 in favour of the Australians. I mean, you just can't get the experience of players, but hopefully Georgia can score. And we got a new member on the channel. It is Jeff Parmenter. Thank you very much for hitting that membership button. Greatly appreciated. Georgia have a great front row, says Drink on the Moon. And I'm sitting my Australian citizenship in a month. I'm an Aucklander. No one cares. But I said it anyway. Well, I do hope it goes well for you, Choke the Woke. I know that it's quite a long process, isn't it, in terms of being able to actually go for that citizenship. It was something that I think Quade Cooper had to go through either last year or the year before, if I'm correct. He ended up going through a bit of a patch of trying to get himself Aussie citizenship. Oh, well, I'm predicting 35 for Georgia and 25 for the Aussies, says Josh. And what is your prediction for Australia, Georgia? I'm thinking about 32-17 in favour of the Aussies. But the thing is, it could go the other way. And I'm going to write my prediction down here. One moment. 32-17. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to put your prediction in the chat, and we'll see who's closest at the end of the contest. 2025 Rugby World Cup is in Toronto, says Daniel there. Okay, so 2 in the same region of the world in a row, if that is the case. The national anthem of Australia has been sung, same with the Georgian, so we are very close to the start of this contest, ladies and gents. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Ben Donaldson gets the start at 10. He had a good season in Europe, in Europe, 2035. Wait, so it can't be in Toronto and Europe, can it? So is it like they're splitting it, or is it just in Europe, or just in Toronto? 2039 is in England, says Daniel. It's been a little while since the English have had a World Cup, so I guess that does make sense. They are just showing there Ninashvili, 31 games, 29 starts, so it's not often that man isn't in the starting lineup, and then when he is in the starting lineup, of course, he does know often how to score tries, getting himself the 10. 40-12 to the Canary Yellows. Says Drink on the Moon. No, I misclicked, says Daniel. Okay, that's all good. James Dolman, he will be the referee in charge of this game with Richard Kelly. In fact, it's an all-New Zealand panel with Paul Williams and Angus Maybe as the 2 assistant referees as well. Go Georgia, says Sanjiva there. Harry Wilson, I'm looking forward to seeing him alongside Fraser McWright and Rob Valentini. That is a lot of power, but nicely taken by Filippo Dungunu off the kickoff. And Australia now are in possession. McDermott going back across to Ben Donaldson. Now Fraser McWright sitting 2 metres out from their own line. And McDermott will put it back to Donaldson, who looks for the clearing kick. Doesn't manage to find touch, so this is a great opportunity for Georgia to be able to run it back with Ninashvili. He goes through the first tackle attempt of Nick Frost, but is dragged down by Rob Valentini. Good morning, afternoon all, says Grant. Welcome in, mate. If you are keeping well. Any more games tonight? There is South Africa versus Portugal, which we are covering on the channel. There is also a game taking place a bit later on, and that is the game taking place between Uruguay and Argentina, but sadly we won't be covering that one on the channel. Good morning, Amish from Durban. You're looking smart. The ladies are going to make some nice comments, says Brian. Cheers, Brian. Hope you are doing well. Hope you're excited for the Springboks game later on. Springboks, of course, taking on the Portuguese at 3 a.m. New Zealand time. Penalty early on goes the way of Georgia. They considered a quick tap there for a second, then remembered they were Georgia, and then they decided they will take the 3 points. Man, do you think, Hamish, that the All Blacks coach Scott Robinson will make some future changes in the starting lineups, like Billy Proctor, who really showed what he can do, as well as Basilio Tosi? Says, I think that the youngsters in that game up against Fiji really stepped up, which was exactly what they needed to do, because this was probably one of their only opportunities to get minutes in. They had to make a huge effort of it, and that's what they did. Georgia have the home of the glorious Beards. He has some pretty impressive stashes out there on the field. What time the Oz won? Sorry, don't mean to get you off track. What time the Oz won? As in the... Wait, the Oz one is in the game right now? Or the Box versus Portugal one? And again, Amish says Daniel Watson, Springbok's going to get thrashed. Says Choke the Woke. It's hard to say. Like, I feel like it will be pretty competitive between the All Blacks and the Springboks this year in the Rugby Championship. That is a nice kick from Georgia, so they will add the early 3 points to give them now the lead. Sorry, Box, says Naz Williams. So that is at 3 a.m. New Zealand time. What position did you play, Hamish? I was out on the wing. Although if I could do it all again, I want to be a halfback. But that position was reserved for the coach's son, so I'd never really got that chance. I again, says Daniel, welcome in. And Aussie shouldn't have problems here. I'm backing them to score here. Nicely taken by the Georgians just outside of the 20 or 22. Tapladze. Had that one in hand. Lania. Back across. This pitch is looking a little bit dry at the moment. Where's your tuxedo go? I mean, I'm still wearing like the tie and the suit, like shirt or dress shirt, but I just don't have the other one on. Oh, they were told to use it. They took too long, says James Dolman. And that's now going to be a scrum feed for the Australians. Right, so the commentator is saying that it's terrific that they're trying to keep the game rolling, but if the Australian was given a penalty against him for that, I'm sure would be a different comment. Hi, Amy, says Stuart Moore, and Coach's son needs to slap. Says Fluffy, I missed the All Blacks game, says Stuart. It was a good one. I would recommend going back and having a look at it. There was some very entertaining moments throughout that game, about 1,000 running metres between the two sides, plus a total of about 75 defenders beaten. How did Proctor play? He looked really strong. At number 13, seemed calm under pressure. And Leonard Brown on the inside had a very good game as well. Now take McDermott. Nope, we're going to get the scrum standing up. The gap was too big. That's what my dentist said about my front teeth. They didn't actually. They probably wouldn't be allowed to. But nonetheless, scrum feed now again. Cool, says Stuart. And howdy, lovely Roof. All good, just doing my best to stay out of trouble. How are you, Roof, says Nas. Now again, the scrum with Kailea Alalatoa and Billy Pollard. Now, that scrum's ugly. To be honest, both sides really, it looked like it could have gone either way, but someone looked like they were going down 65-10. That's a nice short ball to Rob Valentini. May have been tackled from an offside 9. Now Fraser McWright gets it away. Donaldson goes to Tom Wright there, 5 metres out from the line. Now McDermott, quick hands here from the Aussies, will set them up, and Hunter Paisami scores the try. That's one way to do it. My French boss is a slave driver working at 9:30 a.m. Says Roof there. And that is great work from Hunter Paisami and the Wallabies. Just those quick hands moving it out wide. And they probably could have had about 3 different men who got that last touch of the ball. Georgia had almost slowed it down, but McDermott just got over the top of the player who was at the back of the ruck. 2027 Australia, 2031 USA, in my opinion, 2025 joint host Ireland and Scotland, Argentina or South Africa. Says Smoking RSA every day. And that's the thing, if Argentina can put together some big results, right, they do have potential of becoming a host of a World Cup at some stage, because I know a lot of people would say that maybe there's not enough of a fan base at the moment for Argentina. A friendly knee to the chops for his effort. Isn't it great what a Kiwi coach can do for another country? Says drink on the moon. And works good, Roof. You know the saying, idle time is the devil's playground. Here's Nas Williams. And I'm not sure about LeBock, but this one-man show. Maybe he's passing the ball to his teammates today. Go Georgia, says Nas Williams. That one has gone over from Donaldson, so that will now make the score a total of 7 points to 3 after only the first 5 minutes or so in this matchup. But it was a good run from Hunter Paisami. It's the big celebrations from his teammates as well. Oh, now it's going to be kicked off. It's gone very high. Dongunu is underneath it again for the Australians. Of course, unlike the under-20s, we cannot have marks taken from a kickoff inside of the 22. That is a rule that I don't see them changing anytime soon. I just feel like that would be one that would complicate things a little bit, although it did lead to a lot more contested opportunities in the under-20s. It's probably a good time to congratulate England as well for their under-20s victory over the French in the final. New Zealand finishing with the bronze, and then Ireland finishing in 4th place. Ruse in space. Says Fluffy there. Ready to throw this one in. It is going to be Kakaridze. A nice step in there into the midfield. Tapaladze into the pocket now for the Georgians. Looking for the cross kick was Matkava. And that's another great take from Filippo Nangunu. That is his 3rd catch of the day that he's been underneath. Hard to hate on the Aussies now since Joe's coaching. So here's Nas Williams. Now quick hands again for Australia. That's one thing that seems to have come a long way in just the last few weeks, is their passing ability through their backline. But the thing is, they have conceded a lot of tries throughout those games as well. That is going to be a good run from Kailea. Halfway now for Tay McDermott. Finds man on the short side, and Angus Blythe. Now short ball, Harry Wilson. Ooh, almost stolen by Georgia in that breakdown. Pick and go from McDermott. And raining cats and dogs here in Western Cape still. Just well, Springboks not playing here today, says Bruce. Yeah, they are playing in Cheetahs territory, aren't they? Is it Free State? I don't actually really know my South African geography as well as I should, but where is Free State in terms of, is that actually the name of the place, or is there like a name for it outside of Free State? Do let me know. I've got to ask these questions now so that when I mention about it on the South African streams, I don't get a whole heap of angry people yelling at me, because that happens often. And heck yeah, says Mark, and Spaced Out Kangaroos, lovely to see Aussies bouncing. Yes, says Daniel. So Free State is the place. Okay. And whereabouts in South Africa is that? Is that like the top, the bottom, the left, the right? However, there, don't worry about South Africa, but we have got a South Africa one later on. Free State is the province. Ah, okay. So Bloemfontein in this Free State. Got it. Right. I'll have to remember that, won't I? I feel like the easiest province to know where it is of course Western Province. I can do the maths in my head. I prefer Free State, says Fluffy. Nobody cares. Well, we've got a few South Africans who are helping me out, so there's a chance to extend the knowledge. Might as well. Bottom left, Free State Province is in the middle of the country, says Grant there. Currently on the halfway line. That looks like a clean steal for the Georgians. In fact, they are just outside of their 22 now with that ball going back. Oh, that's a big shot coming to the side of the head. I don't think Ninashvili got a huge amount of height on that kick. Now going off to the right-hand side here for the Georgians. Free State is the province in the middle of South Africa. Bloemfontein is the capital. And absolutely says drink on the moon. It looks like another box kick is coming here for Alaninia. Oh, charge down. An awkward bouncing ball, but Nick Frost doing well to be able to charge that one down. And now once again, the back line will start firing here. Couldn't quite get that next pass for Ben Donaldson. Orange Free State in the middle. Bloemfontein is the capital. No, Western Province, Western Cape. Western Province is just the name of the Currie Cup team. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? The one thing that I thought I knew, I did not know. Now, a rush defence there from the Georgians. McDermott again with the short ball. Almost misses the tackle, but Kutela does manage to make it. It looks like there is a player down in back play for the Georgians. Dungunu almost goes too far for Darby Lancaster, who goes into touch. And it will now be a Georgian line out. It's also one of the 3 capital cities of South Africa. Now, I did actually know that South Africa does have 3 capitals. Fun fact. I don't know how I knew that. I think it was because I was trying to do like a quiz of all the capitals, and I sucked at it. But 11 minutes in at the moment. Now, Australia back in possession. Unfortunately, the line out not quite working out. Now, Alatoa sitting 20 metres out from the line here, Australia, and behind, looping around. There are numbers for days, but they don't get it out wide. Donaldson, I think he thought he saw a gap on the inside, but there were about 3 men on the outside who were ready for it. McDermott back across to Frost. Bockleby stretched, ouch. And 3 capitals, bit greedy, says Fluffy. Now 5 metres out. Oh, McDermott passes it into him to milk the penalty advantage. Around the side of the breakdown, they're 2 metres out at the moment, getting very close here. Who's it going to be? It looks like Rob Valentini it is. And he scores the try now for Australia. That is their second, but they can't get too confident because this is what they did up against Wales, and then they almost lost that game. So yes, it's a good start, but they have to keep that pressure going. The Georgians getting caught out by the early momentum that Australia have created, being able to get those passes accurate. Playing under penalty advantage as well just meant that they were able to have that little bit more freedom. Okay, down feels like winter in London, bloody cold. Says Ruth. Just short. And it's very big. Western Cape is Cape Town. It's not looking great for the Beardmen. Says Grant there. Rob Valentini in for another one. It's 2 within 12 minutes. Georgia Are they going to be able to hang with Australia's attack here? I hope Georgia gives the Aussies a tight game. I hope so too. At the moment, it's looking less tight. Georgia will shock the world, says Tigger there. In what regard? Like, is in in the rugby world in the future, or is in just in general? They did all right in the Euros, didn't they? For the Georgians, that's a terrible strike from Donaldson. He skied that one. He has missed with that attempt. Levok needs new fishnets and lipstick if he's going to be on his best, says Ruth. Currently 14 minutes in. 12 points to 3. Georgia needs some attack here. A little bit of possession would go a long way. Just something that they haven't got a huge amount of as of yet. The Cape province doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, Hamish, beautiful try. You're the best of the best, says Ruth. And there as well. Now, take McDermott back into the pocket and will be sent downfield. Or no, not quite. They've decided that they actually want to try and run this one here, Australia. Now McDermott looks like he will roll it back. But once again, they're going to try and make a few extra meters, create the angle. McDermott, he's been told to use it. Can't mess around with it. Has to make sure that he goes quickly. That is the ruling that James Dolman has had throughout this contest. On the halfway line now, Ninashvili. Can he find the gap? In fact, it's going to be Matkava. Gets back up to his feet as he wasn't held. Georgia in possession about 35 metres out from Australia's line. Jalagonia at number 8 for this match. Oh, Tabut Sadsi is nailed there in that shot by Ben Donaldson. Looked like it was a little bit high. Oh, Ninashvili fired up. He was trying to fight one of the Aussie players. Don't know what happened there, but he was dragging someone out of the breakdown by his leg. So I feel like there's a fair bit of physicality out there on the field at the moment. Now going to the right-hand side again for the Australians. Well brought in by Kakadze. Searching for the ball, and McDermott does get the turnover for not releasing. Pai Salami tackling like a beast. Taken quickly there, McDermott's decided that he wants to go for the kick in behind. Chasing after this one, it's going to be Tom Wright. Great tackle on Ninashvili. Taken out of the breakdown were the Australians. Looking for the turnover, but Georgia now in possession. Matkava going to play half here. Go a couple more phases to the big man. Mimiashvili. Have now been told to use it. Back into the pocket. Oh, Matkava playing confidently and decides to actually send it across the field and does get it into touch. That is a fantastic kick. What a waste, says Seller. And there is in for the Georgians on attack, I assume. Or, oh no, that would have been the Aussie quick tap, wouldn't it? Of McDermott. Yeah, he did just kind of kick it away. I feel like McDermott, he's got the hairstyle a little bit similar to Paddy Pimblett in regards of, I feel like people dislike him a bit more because of his hair. Because anytime he runs, it just kind of bobs. Now Tom Wright on the halfway line at the moment, got a penalty. And then you kick it away, says Sally. Yeah, it wasn't the best idea. Like, there was space, but it was never going to be enough to chase it down, if that makes sense. Unless he was going for a 50-22, but then I think they were inside of the half, so... yeah, not the best choice from McDermott, but I guess just trying to keep this game flowing, trying to tire out this Georgian backline. Nice run forward from Tom Wright. Katau having to join that breakdown to keep it on the side of the Aussies. That sounded like there's another penalty advantage. Management working the attack nice and could be worse. Could have a man bun. So here's Fluffy, nice run from Alan Alaratoa. McDermott again. Off to Donaldson. Flat ball, Paisami in behind, looping around. Going to Frost, who found himself in the winger position for that one. And hard equals Georgia, head alas equals Australia. Says Peter Wild. McDermott has always been called haircut, says Grant there. And chicken mushroom pie is delicious. If you take out the mushroom, I'd agree. I'm not the biggest fan of mushrooms. Like, I'd eat them if I absolutely had to. But if I didn't, then I wouldn't. Only 18 minutes into this contest, though. Georgia have still had some decent moments, but it's been more so Australia attacking. And it looks like the Georgians are starting to have a bit of wear and tear. Nino Shvili actually staying down with a bit of a shoulder injury. Well, I think it's also going to be just use up a little bit of extra time. I refuse to eat mushrooms. See his blue here? Mushrooms too spicy for you, Hamish. Don't be like that, Grant. No, they're just not nice, are they? Like, I have nothing against them. I think the texture's a bit funny, you know, and that's probably why. Like, I wouldn't eat a raw mushroom. I don't even know if you're supposed to eat raw mushrooms, but like a cooked mushroom kind of has that gelatinous kind of feeling to it. And if I want to eat something that's gelatinous, I'll eat jelly, you know, rather than a mushroom. Mushrooms for life, says Dr. McDermott. Has super hair, seeking to fuff the clerk. And chicken mushroom and cheese pie can't be beaten when you're eating. Says Drink on the Moon. So they got quite a few Cadbury advertisements. A heap of big hands that they're waving at the camera. That's nice. Big McDermott now. Looking for the touchline, gets it out. About 22 metres from the Georgian line, but this could be a third opportunity for Australia to score within 20 minutes of this game starting. Billy Pollard running up to that. I can tell you right now, because Georgia have big forwards, Australia trying to wear them out here, and they're trying to play at a frantic pace that Georgia cannot keep up with. Well, the old type of mushrooms are you eating that's gelatinous? You know, they just go a bit soft, don't they, sometimes? That's a nice run forward from Tate McDermott. Yeah, I'll get it a little bit closer there over again, but is it held up? I think it might be down for the Australians. They're going to check it. You can, Hamish, are you going to hock on them? Says Mark, and favourite mushroom and mushroom pasta. Google it. And also we have got there, heck yeah, Hamish. I read that one tonight. Mushrooms in garlic cheese butter sauce. That doesn't sound terrible. Right. James Dolman just saying he was blocked from being able to see that one. They want to check whether or not there is going to be the try. I think on-field decision is try here for the Australians, though. So they will need clear, conclusive evidence that this one has not been grounded. There is a post in the way. We're not going to see it from that angle. Ooh. That ball, I don't think it was down. But then at the same time, if it's on-field try, I don't know. They're saying that's on the ground, but I don't know if it is. Like they've just said, there's a heap of fingers underneath the ball. I think this is going to be, they'll stick with the on-field decision, which I believe was given as a try, even though James Dolman did say he didn't see a grounding. Yeah, you may award the try, stick with your on-field decision. Third try of the match, and this time it's coming for Isaac Kailea in this game. Tight says Mr. Orlin. That's not a try for me, as magic as HIV Johnson. Says, Doctor, red wine makes me want to dance. Good. What about white wine? Does white wine not quite hit the same as the red stuff? But once again, just strong carries around the side of the breakdown from the Aussies, and then Kailea just drives his legs. Okay, I was wrong, says Ella. The thing is, though, I don't know if you necessarily were. Like, I didn't really see a grounding. I saw a whole heap of hands pretty much under the ball, but they've said at some stage it's touched a blade of grass, and since it was on-field decision, they've kept it as a try. But I honestly couldn't see too much hitting the ground there, but 19 points to 3 now. That was a big yawn. Hamish might have the face of a superstar, but the taste buds of a toddler. Hey, nothing wrong with toddler taste buds. They bloody love chicken nuggets and chips. That's about all I need to live off. You know, chuck in the occasional chocolate pudding. I'm a happy boy. But now Filippo Dungunu is off to Rob Vellatini and cheap red wine and 3-day growth. First date essentials. Says Fluffy. Going to be kicked high from Tate McDermott down towards the touchline. Claimed again at the back by the Georgians with a bit of a missed pass. Tabutsadze is there to be able to clean it up and goes with a boot of his own. Down to Ben Donaldson, who was waiting on the Australian 40. And that's going to be marked by the Georgians with Ninashvili. And once again, this gives them a little bit more breathing time because Australia are trying to really make Georgia sweat here. That one has gone into touch now for Ninashvili and red wine. Go to my head, make me forget. Ask your parents if they recognise those lyrics. I'll have to ask them a bit later on, I'd say. Red wine. Is it like an 80s song or 90s song? That's a nice ball to Isaac Kailea again from Valentini. He's really found his stride throughout this game, going out wide now. Tom Wright gets it away to Darby Lancaster, who almost goes into touch the sevens man. You are what you eat. We were brought up horse mushrooms, size of a dinner plate, delicious, says Moa. I love Jimmy Barnes, says UB40, says Fluffy there. Now in behind, Tom Wright, going off to Darby Lancaster again, gets the ball on this near side of the field. Oh, looks like there's a Georgian injury. That was a bit brutal. Alan Alatoa decides to push the man who had the injury, and now the Australians have dropped the ball. Ninashvili goes back down the middle into the 22. Waiting for this one is Filippo Dungunu. Going to kick it off his right boot. That's a very good kick for a casual kick downfield from Filippo Dungunu. Fluffy not mushroom in there. At the band UB40, red wine. Says Doctor. That sounds like a submarine. Says Fluffy, so far we've seen 48 carries. There's a bit of an injury here for one of the Georgian players, but looks like they are ready to continue in this match. You can already see fatigue setting in for Georgia. They are not used to playing at this tempo. Their game last week up against the Fijians, it would have slightly prepared them for this kind of running game of rugby. But they are slowly and methodically getting worn down here. So they have to score soon if they want any chance of coming back into the contest. 23 minutes in, rolling ball on the halfway line here for the Georgians. There's going to be the advantage there against, I believe it was against Angus Blythe. Advantage going up to the left-hand side. Georgia looking to use their backs here. Man on the inside, I think it was Tadua. Only about 30 metres out from the line now. Saganadze back into the pocket. Ninashvili almost misses his pass, but manages to find someone in the end. Moving up to the 25 metres out now for the Georgian. Going quickly, Mimashvili. Across, Matkava goes to Ninashvili. Oh, that was almost an interception, but nicely cleaned up by Tabua. Driven towards the touchline. Kavaledzedze. That wasn't quite how you say it. I thought if I said it quickly, then no one would notice how badly I pronounced it. And Hot Summer Night with the pants falling down and the girls on the ground. Is that lyrics from that song as well? Hot Summer Nights with the pants falling down and the girls on the ground. Why are the girls on the ground? That's my big question. Well, theoretically, everyone's on the ground, though, aren't they? Unless they're standing on something. Like a chair or a table. Looks like they are kicking for the corner here from Georgia. I like this. They won the penalty 25 metres out. And they've decided to go for that rolling maul rather than going for the easy 3 points. Hello there, long time no see. How are we? Says Ed. Welcome in, mate. It is good to see you once again on the channel. Doing very well. You said it good, Amishvili. Says RJJ. And that means go Georgia. That is where women always been, on the ground, says Stella. But we are also on, like, we step on the same ground as everyone else does. Unless we've got, like, higher shoes. No, they have high heels, so they'll be higher than us in terms of off the ground. Just doing some maths. You're not stepping on the ground, though, when you're on a trampoline. But you are at times. The more you know. And now, trying to get this one moving forward. It's the way we sang a Neil Diamond song. No bloody idea what it has to do with rugby, says Peter Wild. Now, trying to go through. 10 metres out from the line. That looks like a good turnover for the Aussies. All mushrooms are nice, especially the magic ones, says Trajan. And now, Dungunu Kicking it in behind. That's going to be a good kick again from Dungunu. He's actually got a bit of an underrated boot, I would say. He doesn't normally have to use it. Normally he's better under the high ball. That's a nice pass out to Ninashvili. Sitting 40 metres out from the line. Lenikatau, oh, he's teasing him. And Dungunu says, okay, I've seen the ball now. I will rip that off you. And he has stolen it back for the Aussies. That will get the crowd on their feet. That was pretty well done. Oh, that's a crunching tackle. Old mate's down on the turf now. Now Tom Wright. And it's just a fend off one sitting 50 metres out from the Georgian line. Now the Australians, they're also sitting 50 metres out from their line because that's how big the field is. Now nicely stolen by the Georgians again here. They will look to go to the right-hand side. I've been on Rewind since midday. I do hand things for free. Says Drink on the Moon. I see. 27 minutes in, though. Close game. Not really. Georgia needed another try here to get back into it. I wish you're doing great. Your smooth skin is fabulous. I don't know about smooth skin. It's looking pretty brutal at the moment. I had something with sugar in it the other day, and it's just bloody shot me, you know. Woman can get you in a neck lock, and boom, bye-bye, says Ruth. And old mate's another name unpronounceable. No, I think it was just Tom Wright. Or it might have actually been Angus Blythe, but yeah, he did get put down, unfortunately, on the turf. But that was great work from Filippo Dungunu. Ninashvili, as he was going down to the ground, kind of put it in Dungunu's face and said, this is what it looks like. I'm going to lie down now. And Dungunu said, okay, I see it in your halfback's hand. I'm going to take it off you. And then Australia managed to get that turnover. Sorry, handstands. Handstands are something I was never good at. Even roly-polies were hard enough. I didn't know where to put my head. But now, short ball from the Georgians. Sitting only 5 metres out from the line, over the ball there for McRide, and he wins the penalty. The hands may have been down, but they've let him away with it. Especially some of those league and union women. Says Fluffy there. The holding on penalty going against the Georgians there. Women can get you with yoga pants. Yoga pants, says Doctor. So far we've seen 7 penalties throughout this game. 4 against Georgia, 3 against the Australians. Yeah, just talking about how strong of a player Fraser McRight is. I would agree with that statement. He is one of those guys that just does not really make many mistakes. I don't know where to put my head. Title. It's a good one. We got a few titles. We have enough for like a whole series, don't we? But now titles, that is, not actual tapes. Going to be kicked high from Tate McDermott now. 29 minutes into this contest, and well taken under high ball for the winger Sandro Todua. And Tom Wright went left. Says Roof there in the director's cut. Which head? Handstands. Had a girlfriend who had been told when we are dating not to let me play around below her waist. She was excellent at handstands. What about headstands? Headstands is something that that just takes it to the next level, doesn't it? But handstands, I would always flip over. Straight down, bang. Maybe that's a video idea one day. We'll try and learn how to do a handstand and hopefully not break our back. Roll a woman up at her yoga mat and stuff her behind the couch. Says Salah. I wouldn't recommend that. I don't think that will go too well. That time Fraser McRight tried to get into the breakdown, but then they do end up just leaving their feet, the Australians, in the counter ruck. Now Georgia, they will be 5 metres out to a handstand now. No way. There are too many objects. Like, that's the thing. As you get older as well, you get taller most of the time. So, like, I'd have to do it outside. It sounds like a... Are you doing well with these comments? They're getting lower now, going south. Says Roof's sitting 5 metres out from the line now for the Georgians. And they get over the line. The commentators have just said that the Georgians are going to do a bit of the pound game, which could also be taken the wrong way. 4 metres out from the line. Sanginadze. Ooh. Doesn't quite get the stretch out that he would have been after. Looks like they're going to use their back line here now. Inside centre. Just crash forward. There's Saladze. Oh, someone's number's almost falling off. And there is an advantage now again to the ABs do. Well, I thought they did pretty decently throughout that game. Like, there were still things that they could improve on. They did miss about 27 tackles in that one, but now going back across to the left-hand side. Here comes Georgia, one more pass, and it's going to be Sandro Todua who does score the try. Oh, no, it's a forward pass. What? Where's that from? Still Georgia's ball. They had the penalty advantage. How? Was that forward? I just got a bit excited, but I don't think it was... Was it bad? I didn't see it. Well, I did see it, but... Oh, well, they're 5 metres out. They're going to try and crash over here by the looks. I don't even think we're going to get to see a replay of the try, or at least the try that could have been, but they are now 3 metres out from the line. It's going to be Contirela. It's very close. No advantage. Australia's discipline's gone down the gurgler. Now, 2 metres. Going short side. This time they're going to try it the other way. Can they get this one backwards? Oh, Tabadladze has dropped the ball. If Australia have the strength to beat the All Blacks, it would be interesting. I think that both games, or both teams having games under their belt is helping them big time in terms of progressing. Tuck roll if you're in trouble. Says Drink on the Moon. And Beardy got one. Says Blavey, I got Australia on 24.5 minus handicap. Says Andres there. Ooh. Nice. Right, looks like they are going to go for the quick tap again. Probably not a bad choice here for the Georgians. And just once again, just throwing themselves as close to the try line as they can. Oh, that is brilliant defence from Nick Frost. He turned the player the wrong way and forced him backwards. Now, this is so close this time. That's got to be almost over the try line. But Georgia, can they strike? And that is down this time. They will score it. Who was it? I'm trying to look for the number. It was one of the locks. He's one of the taller blokes in the team. Is it number 5 or is it number 4? Turn around, mate. We can't see. Come on. I think it is Babunashvili who has scored the try. And probably will be a similar score to the New Zealand versus Fiji game. And does Australia have the strength to beat the All Blacks in the Bledisloe Cup? I would be curious to see how it goes. I feel like it will be a little bit more competitive than maybe some of the past years that we have seen. But Babunashvili does get that try. Comment how you want to win. Or who you want to win. I think that is from Lewis Smith. And he has got Go Georgia 69 watching. Might need to change that image. It's now 75. And come on, Georgia, says Zion. Of Georgia celebrating that one. They knew that they needed tries in this game. They couldn't afford to just allow the Australians to get those few early tries and then take 5s. Whoever designed the numbers on the Georgian kit, I think, have really struggled here. All the numbers are falling off already and we're only in the first half. And yes, says Lewis Smith, that kick is over. And that is now going to make the score between the two sides 10 points to 19. We're almost at half time as well. Only about 5 minutes left. And yes, there's Lewis there. How you doing the Scotland game? Sadly, not only because it's not being shown here in New Zealand. But, yeah, the November internationals, I believe we will get to see Scotland's games here in New Zealand. So we will be covering them at that stage. Now, nicely taken by Ninashvili. Now gets a pass away. Georgia have got some space now on the outside. Todua, he'll be disappointed that he didn't get himself the try. He might have been taken out late there by a trailing Aussie player. Donaldson will kick it downfield, looking for space and hoping for the 50-22. Awkward bouncing ball, and it just runs away from Tabutsadze. Now the line out coming for the Georgians, but this does not look good here for one of the Georgian players. We're going to see here Tabutsadze. Oh, gets him with the knee on the chin. Oh, the thigh of Filippo Nangunu. That's not going to tickle 50-22? No, it wasn't. It ended up bouncing backwards a little bit more, so it was outside of the 22, but I think... Okay, we're going upstairs to the TMO. See whether or not Filipo Nungunu is going to go from having a fantastic game to having a bit of ill discipline. Cost him 10 minutes. I can also do 9 cart rolls in a row. See, I was never good at cartwheels either. Yeah, he's come through quite late there, Filipo Nungunu. Clearly reaches yellow card threshold, they've said, and that is a hard knock. He had no intention to hit him, but unfortunately he did. Now we have got the TMO says Lewis, so yeah, this sounded like a yellow card for the Australians. And then the tempo. I would be surprised if this is upgraded to a red, but at the same time I would have no idea. The crowd aren't happy about it, but he had plenty of time to not jump the way that he did Filipo Nungunu. He's jumped from about 2 or 3 metres away from the player as he's kicked the ball. So the chance of a charge down was extremely limited, but the chance of coming through and connecting with that player was pretty obvious. Yeah, as you can see there, like he slightly pulls out, but that's after he's jumped up. Like the commentators have just said, could have easily been a straight red. And he could have pulled out, says Fluffy. That's another one for you, Grant. But now it's going to be the Georgians getting ready to kick this one, I believe, towards the posts. Looks like that's going to be the option that they go with. He is still down at the moment. The Georgian winger, Todua, just now making his way. Well, he has to go off the field, surely, for an HIA here. What is the capacity? This stadium, I think it's like 35. Something like that. I'll have a quick look. Allianz Stadium capacity. Oh, it's 45,000, actually. What did I say? 35. I was 10 grand short. You have to do strong, or you have to have strong wrists to do cartwheels. Probably why I can't do cartwheels then, isn't it? Now lining up this kick. And it's missed. Was that the right decision from Georgia when you're down by 9? Georgia's fullback is holding its own, but go Aussie. Says drink on the moon, but Abhan Dadze is on the field. That other guy, Tabua, was much easier to say. Put an HIA on this to-do list. Or on his to-do list. Nice one. Oh, that's a nice rip of the ball from Lancaster. Oh, we almost dropped it. The manager's to hang on to it 20 metres out from the line now. But the Australians, are they going to be able to fire to that next level here and get another try and make Georgia really regret their decision to not go for the 7? Nick Frost. 15 metres out from the line now. Harry Wilson. McDermott goes out to Fraser. McWright again now. And trying to get that ball in the breakdown. He was told no, and he still went for it. So now the advantage in their favour. Nice one. I appreciate a good dad joke. Says Grant. Now Ikitau. Kailea has already scored himself 1 try in this game. Wouldn't mind a second. 2 minutes remaining in this first half now for the Australians as they are still attacking from 10 metres from the Georgian line. McWright. Darby Lancaster was waiting on the edge. Valentini now gets to 5 metres out. Still under penalty advantage. McWright moves within 2. Now Kailea again. That's getting closer for the Australians. They are not. Oh, that's a mistake though. I was about to say they are not going to be able to break this Georgia defence by the looks of it, but I'm married now. When I was young, I had the strongest wrist. Then I got a girlfriend. Now she got strong wrist and grip. Get another girlfriend, says Ruth there. And rock climbers and oyster shuckers. Strongest wrists, says Fluffy. Now 1 minute left in this half by the looks of it. In Australia, they won't mind kicking this one towards the corner. And now sitting about 7 metres out. That's the only difference between pink and purple, says Peter Wild. Yeah, unfortunately, the try scorer for the Georgians, Babunadze, or Babunashvili, I should say. Just timing it wrong, joining that breakdown. Oh, they've gone to the front there. The Australians are rolling more. This one will not be stopped. McWright was on his back, but he flips over like he was a turtle and scores the try. Normally, turtles do need help, though, to flip the right way up. Definitely if they're big ones. McWright having a big game so far for the Australians in this contest. They will go into halftime with a favourable lead of 14, maybe 16, if this kick does go over. And before I only needed one hand to push it down, and now I need two. Am I getting weaker or stronger? Says RJJ. Good question. Come on, Kangaroos at that try line and try, says Lewis there. But yeah, the rolling maul was marching forward. Flips over well for Fraser McWright. They do get themselves another try. They've just said when you've got a side that enjoy defending rolling mauls, just that little sell and then them going the other way made the massive difference. Now, Ben Donaldson, Turtle Wow, says drink on the moon. Did you know that if a turtle is born with two heads, both heads will fight each other for food? I did not know that, but that's sad but interesting at the same time. Had a girlfriend like that once. What, with two heads? Oh, that's a good kick from Donaldson. Or will she fight you for food? But that's going to be half time. 26 points to 10 at the moment in this contest, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a great start to the match. And evening, Kiwi lads. Everyone holler to you all. Says Spider Mech. And right on Australia, says Lewis Smith. Yes, it's been a very solid half for the Australians. They had a couple little mistakes every once in a while, but overall this is still looking like a much better oiled Australian side than we have seen in the past. So hopefully they can continue that throughout the second half. There was something up against the Welsh that they struggled with. They had a good first half. They didn't quite fire in the second. Almost cost them that contest. But we have got half time at the moment, ladies and gents, in this matchup. One moment, we'll go like this. And we will go like that. We will get some stats to do with this contest, ladies and gentlemen. And the chat has been better than the game, says Grant. Currently 53% territory actually for Georgia. Of course, that is due to some kicking that they have done. Possession is in favour of the Australians. 52% in their favour. They have scored 4 tries to the 1. They have also been able to beat 7 defenders. Surprisingly, though, Georgia have beaten more defenders throughout this game with 13 compared to Australia's 7. And then the meters carried, Australia have had 207 compared to Georgia, who have had 126. In terms of the tackles made, 112 have been made by Georgia. They've only missed 5. So one thing that is always credited is that Georgian defence and the way that they are able to make a lot of tackles. But then Australia still busted through and got themselves the 4 tries. Australia only tackling at 82%. But if you look at the scoreboard, someone is that little bit more ahead. Australia doing pretty good under Schmitz. Come on, Georgia, says Peter Wild, and Georgia might score another try, hopefully, says Doctor. And there as well, Marina Grant, says Blues Nate, give us a joke. It's very hard to tell a joke on the spot, though, isn't it? And I feel like everyone's heard rugby jokes. Best joke to tell at work. I would consider this at work. I am in the office per se. Come on, Georgia, play to your strength, guys. You can beat Aussie. What's a good joke that we got? I told my doctor that I broke my arm in 2 places. He told me to stop going to those places. Oh, I'm on bad, actually. It's not a bad one to start us off, I wouldn't think. Australia execution has been solid. It has been. They've made some good decisions throughout this one. Rugby, the sport, where the fat kids get picked first, says Salah there. And kia ora, brother, says Grant. I feel like that's probably one of the best ones on that list. Maybe not. There's another one there. My wife told me to stop impersonating a flamingo. I had to put my foot down. That's just a little bit of a fun one, isn't it? These are not the best jokes, but they're funny how bad some of them are. I do have to say, two fish in a tank. One looks at the other and says, "How do you drive this thing?" I need a drum kit. That's an investment that we'll need for the channel. A big ba-dum, and just whack the absolute daylights out of the cymbal. But we will look at some more stats for this game, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too much into our comedy session. Someone make him stop, says Fluffy. But yeah, kicks from hand, we saw quite a few. 12 from the Australians, 9 from Georgia. So it's quite tricky to outkick the Georgians, but Australia have done that throughout this game so far. They've had 116 passes, though, compared to Georgia's 55. Clean breaks 3-1 in favour of the Aussies. And then also just that one penalty being converted by the Georgians. They did miss one chance earlier on when they did decide to give it a go. But yeah, second half is going to be hopefully as high scoring as the first. Now, I should mention score is actually 26-10. There we go. Never stop the bad jokes, says Grant there. I feel like I've said all the good ones, though. I'm worried I'm going to get like a really bad one. Okay, no, I found another good one. But now that I've laughed at it, you guys might not find it as funny because it's going to be a lot of hype. Before you criticise someone, walk a mile in their shoes. That way, when you do criticise them, you're a mile away and you have their shoes. I'm sorry, that one got me a little bit. Joe Schmidt, he'll be happy with how his side are going. In the first half, they did well. 4 tries is not too bad. I'm a Māori, so why are there no Māoris working on the Enterprise? Says drink on the moon. Why is that drink on the moon? That joke really hit me funny bone, it did. Why do Aussies like mushrooms? Because they're all short-necked, fat-headed, and thrive on BS. Jeez, that's a bit deeper than the walking in the shoes one, isn't it, Peter? But, maybe correct. Who knows? And my dad took me to the zoo when I was little, and I saw an elephant's... I asked Dad what that was. He said nothing. I said, funny, Mum said the same thing. He said, your mum is spoiled. Right, okay. Evening news is where they begin with good evening and then proceed to tell you why it isn't. That's a fair statement. I was at the park wondering why this frisbee kept getting bigger, and then it hit me. I need to stop. That's too many. We've done about 10, haven't we? Because even in the future, I don't want to work. It says, drink on the moon. Nice. Now, of course, you are allowed to say that because you are insulting yourself, aren't you, rather than someone else? I'm just reading jokes at the moment. I'm enjoying whatever this website is. This a good one? Got a few handy enough ones out there. Corny jokes. Or jokes, that is. 4 stars for the effort. Says Fluffy there. Oh yeah, no, some of those are quite bad actually. But yeah, second half very close. Sorry for just reading jokes at halftime, ladies and gents, but we did go through the stats. There weren't really that many to go through for this game. Isaac Kailea has been able to score, Rob Ballatini, Fraser McWright, and then also early on we saw the try I believe it was for Hunter Paisami. Scored the first try of the contest, just the one coming for the Georgians. Babunashvili, he did decently. How is Donaldson going? He's going all right. I'd say he hasn't had the, he's done what he's needed to. I wouldn't say he's had a standout game. He's had some good passes along the way, though, so I think that is a bonus for him. But, at times, Georgia haven't really thrown a lot back at Australia, so I don't think we've seen Ben Donaldson under pressure at this point. I see that the jokes website that I was reading off is actually the same date as Isaac's birthday when it was updated. There you go. Babunashvili is a Georgian that live on the side of Table Mountain. Says Grant. And I with the laughing there from Drink on the Moon. Oh, they've said to get your phone out. Sign up for Stan Sport. Add to any Stan plan for only $15 a month. There you go. Wait. But how are they going to... Is this not on Stan? So how are they going to scan... Surely that's wrong, isn't it? They've gone on Stan Sport subscription. They've gone scan the code to get Stan Sport. But people who are watching already have Stan Sport. Just to be clear, I own my own business. Says Drink on the Moon. And there as well. Well, they're showing their Australia versus South Africa. That is not too far away from taking place, ladies and gents, at Optus Stadium in Perth. That is the same weekend as we are going to see Israel Adesanya take on Dricus du Plessis in Perth for the middleweight title. Also alongside that, there are a few other big fights on that card. Tai Tuivasa going to be in action. Kai Kara France. There's also going to be Justin Tuffer. Who else is on that card? Della Maddalena, I think, is going to be fighting on that one. Rosenstruck is actually who Tai Tuivasa is going to be facing. Dan Hook is even rumoured to be on that card as well. Fun fact. We over there, what if you're watching at a mate's house and you don't have Stan Sports? Oh, Grant, you're onto something, but you assume that we have mates in that case. Some people, I think, do, don't they? So that's quite handy for them. Is Japan versus Italy tomorrow? I'm going to have a quick look at this. I think it is, isn't it? Where are they? It'd be in the evening, I think, here in New Zealand, wouldn't it? Or not? I thought they played tomorrow. We're going to have to do our research, ladies and gents. Japan, Italy, yeah, 5:05 p.m. But they're not showing it on that channel here in New Zealand. I'll check a few different channels and see if they're showing it anywhere. Not on that one. Might be on Sky Pop-Up or something like that. It's normally where you find... Nope, not on there. What about Sky Select? Sky Select. Has that got it? Surely someone's showing it. Aren't they? Nah. Okay, well, we were going to do that game, ladies and gentlemen, if it was being shown here, but sadly it doesn't look like they are showing it. Dad joke, what, it's 5 toes and it's not your foot? My foot. And Donaldson, a lot of passes, well, to be fair, he's not the most attractive, as you can't blame the girls passing. Says Peter Wild. I feel like the second half's just going to become a whole heap of puns and jokes, isn't it? And I am all for it. So let us know your best. Well, there's a few rugby jokes, but once you've used one, you've used them all, haven't you? In terms of the rugby-based ones. But, yeah, it's hard to say a rugby joke without offending a nation for rugby. Someone else's foot. Says Grant. When is the Box playing? They are playing at 3 a.m. New Zealand time or 5 p.m. South African time. We are going to be covering their game on the channel up against the Portuguese. So they are playing in just over 8 hours' time. So be sure to keep an eye out for that one. Just awaiting the second half of this matchup, which is not too far away from beginning. I feel like next weekend. What we got next weekend? We got Tonga versus the Reds and Uruguay versus Scotland on the weekend. Now, I don't know if either of those games are being shown in New Zealand, but we are covering the sevens at the Olympics next week. When is the next All Blacks game? That is in about 3 or 4 weeks' time, I believe. Hang on. I had the little pop-up somewhere. Hopefully I can find it again to let you know. Where is it? We got the exact time and date. There it is. Hopefully it loads. There we go. So 21 days' time is when they are going to be playing next. I should mention West Indies are playing England at the moment, and it's day 3, and it looks like it's actually a decent pitch, which is great news. First test match between those two sides did go quite short. In the end, England managed to dominate it, but it'll be interesting to see how that goes. What do Georgia need to do to close the gap? Says John. I would say that the forwards and the breakdowns are going to be so key, because we have seen Australia probably be about the same physicality as we've seen from Georgia, which normally Georgia are known for that physicality. But Filipo Dungunu, he is off the field for the next 5 or so minutes, so Georgia need to try throughout that time, I believe, if they want a really good chance of being able to win. As long as you are fending the fence, you're fine. Says Grant, and thanks, mate. Says Michael. Will Portugal do better than Georgia? I don't think so, to be honest. Like, Portugal, I think they struggled up against Namibia in their last game, and that's nothing against Namibia. It's just in terms of between Namibia or the Springboks, one of them is going to be a lot stronger. They just changed the yellow to a red card. Says James Watt. See, for us, we've still got ads of motorcycles and F1 cars and whatnot, so we have to wait a little bit longer. I think we're about to find out, though, what it is, but there is a chance that it could be a red card for Filipo Dungunu, and that would actually result in him missing the early games of the Rugby Championship. That's quite interesting, though, because that would be, yeah, it's going to be upgraded to a red. Dungunu will get minimum probably 2 games. He's not going to be playing up against South Africa. That is probably good news for South Africa off the form that we saw in that first half. Oh, it's a 20-minute red card. But either way, it still means that Dungunu is not going to be playing in those first games of the Rugby Championship. Georgia need drop goals and a few red cards. Well, they've got one in their favour. Yeah, so they are just saying he will have to face disciplinary procedures. Georgian comeback is now on. Says Grant, and damn red card is stupid. Says Doctor, and yeah, Dungunu, you can see that he's frustrated about it as well. Like I said, he left the ground early. He came through. He gets the handshake from one of his teammates there as he's taking his socks off. Dungunu is getting changed. And I won't be upset if Georgia win 20-minute red card. Says Grant there. And okay, 20 minutes, Georgia need more than that. Says Annoy, that's going to be overcooked. But Georgia have managed to claim it. So they have got another 14 minutes of being with a one-man advantage over the Australians. Can they make the absolute most of it here, Georgia? I've been told to use it. Dungunu to the Billy Slater with the karate kick. Says Annoy. Going to be kicked off from Alania. Now goes to Tom Wright, who's only sitting about 40 metres out from the Australian line. Runs it back towards halfway. McDermott now going across to Rob Valentini. I see this 20-minute red card. Be interesting to see. Says Peter Wild. McDermott again, nice inside ball, Rob Valentini. Australia just putting phases together, and this will use up all time as well. So are you going to send people off for 20 minutes? They strike a player with intention. Says Seller, I would assume so. But now that one's going to be kicked in behind Georgia, waiting for the bounce of the ball. It's Nina Shvili now at the back. In fact, it's going to be Luka Matkava. Does get it out. Okay, they're just explaining the red card rule. I thought I would have heard a bit more of a boo, but I think that the people probably already heard it. Yellow card, okay. Just a chance to come back. Red cards are stupid. Just like those on top, stupid. Says Spider-Mick. Intention should be off the whole game. Says Doctor there, damn, so I can get one hit on somebody in a match. Great rule. Says Salah there. And the player can't come back, but then they can replace a player after 20 minutes. Says Nom, I'm exactly right. Now the ball is out the back door. But yeah, we actually mentioned about it right when the 20-minute red card came in. Luckily, we haven't seen it used to the extent that we mentioned, because we said there is a chance that certain players will be brought in as just pretty. Oh, what a bounce of the ball. Sorry for cutting myself off, but Ninashvili has just scored the try for the Georgians. That was a bounce of the ball and a half. Oh, it's a 20-minute red card rule, so pretty much you have 20 minutes of the player being off the field. After that, you can replace that player with someone else. That same player who got the red card cannot come back, but someone else can take their spot. So you can be back to 15 after 20 minutes of a red. The 20-minute basically unlucky without malice. And replacements. Says Doctor there, but Ninashvili scoring it between the sticks. Get in bed, men. But it's exactly what they needed at the start of the second half. A little bit of a fire lit underneath them. Yes, Georgia, says John there. How lucky was that? It was pretty lucky, but you also still have to be in that position to get that ball. So I feel like that is something that Ninashvili did very well. A nice work, Georgia. Excelente, says a Blues Nate. Now lining up this kick, they're only going to be 5 metres out from the line. That's going to make this score now 26 points to 17. Australia still have the lead, but boy, are they getting a little bit closer. Whoa! What was my prediction? 32. Wait, I've got it here. 32-17, wasn't it? Ooh. Tell you what. No, surely Australia wouldn't go into their shell and take 3-pointers, would they? But if they do and they take 2 of them, I would be right. But I don't think I will be. I think that I'm probably going to be the furthest away. Nicely taken by Georgia. I don't think they're done scoring as of yet either. Nice work, Georgia. Oh, good muscle being shown by Alan Alalatoa, having a bit of a grapple session at the moment. Oh yeah, bit of push and shove and back play. James Dolman looking back to try and keep it under control. Where is Alalatoa? There he is. Must have finished the pushing contest. And Hamish says a Blues Nate there. Now it's going to be kicked in behind. Sits up for Georgia again with Mutt Carver. 2-man tackle on him, one of which being Harry Wilson. And in the end, McWright wanted the turnover. Couldn't get it. Hamish the Prophet. Yeah, although we've still got another 36 minutes left in this game. So the chances of that being the exact score, I think, are extremely slim. 1 point ahead, though, or 1 point less could be on the cards for the Aussies. I can't see them getting 32 from here, though. Oh, nicely taken. Darby Lancaster almost went through. Isn't it the biggest game ever, Lancaster, compared to the other wing? Lopadnidze is on the field. That is going to be for Alenia. And going into the showers and take 3 points. So here's RJJ. Australia, almost getting the turnover there. McDermott trying to find his offload. That's going to be a 2-man tackle on Donaldson, and they will go back all for the 3 points if the Aussies want it. But do they want it here? It's about 35 metres out. It doesn't do too much for them other than give them a lead of 12. They're just showing there that offload from McDermott. Donaldson getting taken down. Might have got a bit of a finger in the eyeball as well. What does Australia do here? This is an easy place where they could take 3. But I don't think they're taking 3. I think they're kicking for the corner here. Yeah, they are. So my prediction's not going to happen, I don't think. And see you, Ruth. And got to leave you for a while, Hamish. Going to work soon, so you rockers all later. See you, Ruth. So yeah, we will see you for South Africa versus Portugal. 8 hours time. So when that one has taken place. But in 7.5, we are going to be live on the channel talking a whole heap before that match does get underway. Now lining up this throw for Billy Pollard. And good one, Allen. Says away, looping around Billy Pollard. Inside ball to McDermott. Oh, he's been picked back up there. I think Georgia have done that themselves. They tried to play the physicality game, but it almost ended up with them losing the ball, and now it's actually bounced out onto the side of the Georgians. They have to either run this or get rid of it. Looks like it's going to be Lopardnidze or Tabutsadze, in fact, who kicks that one downfield. That is a good kick. It sets up for him. What a try that is. Single-handedly, Tabutsadze gets them back into the game. That is a try and a half from that man. He was in his own goal line. He has gone 100 metres to win or get that try. Georgia are back in it. There you go. Try from their own goal line. Kicks it downfield. Chases hard. Pins his ears back. Darby Lancaster was jogging after it, which is really poor from that man because we know how much pace he's got. And then Tabutsadze does score the try. I think Australia, if I'm being completely honest right now, with no Dalgunu, their wings aren't going to look so pretty in that first game up against the Box. A Beerman comeback, baby, says Grant. Oh, don't take it away from him. Don't take it away from him. He's gone 100 metres. I can't even run 100 metres without stopping halfway and turning around, walking back. But great try for Tabutsadze. He was good throughout the World Cup for them in 2023. There goes out the Bullies. I'm dreaming of Georgia. Says Fluffy there. I wonder what they were in terms of underdogs in this match, Georgia, heading into the second half. They would have been quite far down, and now they're probably not so far down, I would say. But yeah, Darby Lancaster, he's just jogging there, and that is a coach killer right there. If you're going to casually jog, at least make it look like you're trying, which he just didn't look like he was. Lol, damn, go Georgia. Where's the best place to shop for a new rugby kit? I honestly don't really know. Like, there are a few options like that you will get your kits from, of course, like if you ordered them, but I'm not sure about the cheapest options. Like, I know in New Zealand you can get them from Player Sports for Super Rugby and the All Blacks, but Wallabies, I assume they have their own Wallabies website. Most teams do actually have their own website with the kits on them. I know that it's extremely hard to find a South African kit around the world, and that guy ran his balls off. Says Ella, New Jersey. Says Zion. Oh, it was a joke. I just gave a long-winded answer. That, you know, it's like when someone says knock knock and you give them a whole life story. I just did that. Unfortunately. And Mark from 2 Cents is the best man to ask about rugby kits, says Grant. Sorry guys, rewind. Now, 24-26 at the moment in this game, ladies and gentlemen. We'll check the in-play at the moment. See, Australia, $1.16 favourites. Georgia, $4 underdogs. And this game time is off again. Still 4 minutes remaining of that red card. Looks like a couple changes are being made for the Australians. I wouldn't be surprised if Callaway comes on very soon. But maybe he is going to... Well, actually, no, they probably have to wait, don't they? They have to wait another 5 minutes till Dalgunu has made his way off. Well, made his way officially out of the game, I should say. He's already off with that red card. But McDermott, now going back across to those men's, along Gandalf beards. See his Blues note. Sitting 42 metres out from the line here. Harry Wilson. Isn't it the most busy game either, I would say, overall? Although someone who's just made their way off the bench has got the same headgear on as Harry Wilson. I think that's Tom Hooper. I don't know why he's done that. It's just going to make it harder to work out who is who. Now going back across to the left-hand side, Kailea goes in behind. I think there should be a rule that if one of your teammates wear headgear, you're not allowed that same colour. Nice ball from Hooper going to Alan Alatoa. And just called Kurumbeti. Says Wade. Yeah, I mean, it would be an option for them. I think he's eligible for them as well. It was just more Joe Schmidt went with all Australians who were playing in Australia for his squad for these games. Now getting on the ball, and that's going to be the penalty going the way of the Australians again. There are 2 Georgians down at the moment on a knee. They're feeling the tempo that this game is being played at, but this one has been a very fun game. The same headgear could be a sponsorship thing. Yeah, but surely the sponsors make a different colour, don't they? You know, like we see Fraser McGright, he got a little white strip around with the red on top. Yeah, Hooper and Wilson are just both bright red. So maybe it's the best headgear, but get like the can of spray paint out and just give it a bit. I just watched 2 cents once. He got so drunk, he stopped commentary and was just watching the game. So we were watching him watch the game. That can still be quite entertaining though. Headgear number on the back. Ooh, I think they got the strings on the back though, don't they? Maybe like on the top, so from an aerial point of view you can see which Hooper. Not Michael, no, not Michael, Tom. And that one. Headgear number on the, oh no, that one, no, right. Looks like Georgia are going to be having to take a few players off the field, I think, because of injuries. And Georgia beat Portugal in the soccer this year. I did see that. They made it to the quarters, didn't they, Georgia? Or did they make it to the round of 16? I think it might have been the quarters, though. Right, Kakadze is off. Petriashvili is now on. But nice run from Rob Valentini. The Australians, they are looking to score again. Just before their red card does end up finishing. Another advantage against Georgia. Like F1 drivers have different helmets. Good game so far, says Stuart Moore. Yeah, it's been a really good game. That's going to be the penalty. Double lower the whistle. This is a yellow card now for Georgia. They decided, hey, do you want to watch us play with 14-2? And it's going to be the youngster David Ninashvili who is frustrated with it. Why did the chicken cross the road? Dad joke. Is that the punchline? Like dad joke afterwards? Or is that like the first part? And then it's in brackets. But now, oh, that's close. For Nick Frost. 2 metres short for Australia here. They could shift this one left and they'll find success. Here we go, going out left. They didn't go enough though, but it might not matter. Oh, Ekitale's had the ball stripped from him. Muck Carver could have put that down for the scrum, I believe. Or sorry, for the goal line dropout, but instead he has booted it down the middle of the field. Tabadzadze not chasing this one as hard. Tom Wright manages to clean it up. He's gone round one, but he's tackled by the next. Tabadzadze wants the turnover. Got the gears and style, Shaman. Says Nate, and just didn't experience that yellow. Says Fluffy there. Now back into the pocket. Ben Donaldson again. Kicks it downfield. Awkward bouncing ball. But Georgia have claimed it again. Looks like Mutt Carver is going for a kick of his own. It's not the biggest kick he's ever done, but it's a decent one. It made some territory. Terrific RIP. Terrific rip, sorry, rather than RIP. But yeah, getting it just as Len Ikitau was about to bend himself round to put that one down. Got the hands on it. Oh, we will go like that. We will go like that as well. But now, Australia in position again, both playing with 14. Great run from Fraser McGright. He's got Wilson with him. He's got Valentini with him. He goes out to Harry Wilson, inside ball, and now the offload to Hooper. They've somehow stopped them though, Georgia. They want to go short side. Valentini bundles over, and he gets the try now. There was almost a knock on though. In the breakdown before that, I think he just managed to hang on to it. Sad to see the state of Australian rugby. Says Intel and Georgia playing well here. Georgia have had a pretty solid game here. Terrific rest in peace is Peter, says Grant. And goes the road crossed the chicken. It might have been better to just leave it at dad joke as the punchline there, drink on the moon. But Fraser McGright got it away to Wilson. Then McWright went to Hooper, who was dragged down 2 metres out. Oh, no, okay, Lancaster just missed it. He was keen to have a pick and go himself, but then it rolled through his legs. And no bugger says Peter Wild. And there as well. Yeah, that's a beautiful offload. And then just a quick pop, pop, pop from them as well. 3 strong runners. Says Wade there. Yeah, McWright then getting that pop up to Frost. It's a very close game, says Daniel. Certainly is. Not going to be split by a huge amount between these two teams. Now lining up this kick, it will be Ben Donaldson. This will be an important one. Australia will be back to 15. Chicken was too drunk to fly, says Peter Wild. It's a very close game, says Daniel. But yeah, that whole loose forward trio, the fact that they were the three that were through there, that kick has gone over, so 33-24. Now going to be the score here. But yeah, the fact that all three of them could have got that next pass and could have got themselves a try, very impressive. And then Tom Hooper being there as well for the Australians. Oh, sorry, it wasn't Tom Hooper, it was actually Nick Frost. A couple of Reds boys and a couple of Brumbies boys involved. Jeremy Williams looks like he's already played 80 minutes of rugby and he's just coming off the bench and he's not out there yet. You heard my comment twice, says Daniel. You heard my comment twice, says that. No, that was a dad joke, wasn't it? And out of the white chicken turned brown, I ate him, says Doctor there. Nice one. Andrew Callaway out on the wing now. Inside ball to Tom Wright. Another offload. Great hands from Nick Frost to be able to pick that one up the way that he has. Callaway now looping around, was waiting for the offload, didn't get it. McDermott goes back. Paisami gets it away to Kyler. It was two chickens to cross because KFC had a big welcome sign. Says Blues Nate. And a really good job you've done pronouncing the Georgian players' names, Hamish. Says John. I'm sure Georgia couldn't beat the Reds. Says Fleshin. McWright. Going around the side. I'd love to know, though, Fleshin, which international side did beat the Reds? I've just passed you the ball. Now's your opportunity. Go for it. With all the White Star players, Wales win the Reds with 1 point. Or without, I think that is. From Wade. What did Georgia do in there? He's done a roly-poly. There was an offside, though, originally against Georgia, so now the penalty will go the way of the Australians again. I've once again made the mistake when it came to my score prediction of not just saying a team by a margin, and instead I ended up saying this is going to be the exact score. Cymru, I can't remember how to say it again. I always forget that one, unfortunately. Good morning. How was the birthday party? That is a very good question as well. Hopefully you are feeling all right, Fleshin, after your big night of partying. Everyone wish Fleshin a happy birthday for yesterday in the chat, please. Get some emojis going and all sorts. Now Ben Donaldson, he will once again kick this one towards the corner, getting F bloody Aussies. Says Wayne. And my prediction was 45-3. Says Daniel. Yeah, I think people have underestimated Georgia a little bit in this game. Like, they have scored, I think, more points than anyone predicted, other than someone said 35-25, I think it was. And happy birthday, says Daniel to Fleshin there. Cymru, says Fleshin. Nicely taken to the front by Harry Wilson. Once again, that rolling maul has gone down for the Australians. McDermott, back across there to, I believe it is the replacement, Josh Nassar, I think had that one. Hello, I hope you had the worst birthday ever. Birthday. Happy birthday, G, says Mr. Orlin. And we will take my eyes off for 10 minutes and look at the score. Come on, Aussie, says Moa Hunters. Why call Fleshin butt? What do you know that we don't? Says Peter Wild. How do you a Samoan in the bath? Oh, and happy birthday, Fleshin. Says John there. Once again, Australia will kick this one towards the corner. They have to try and keep this one from collapsing now for Georgia. Lol. Says Albert in all caps as well. Are you excited for the game later on, Albert? I'm sure you are. Up against the Portuguese. What's your score prediction, Albert? I do want to know from yourself straight away. What's the game going to be like? Is it going to be high scoring or is it going to be a little bit one-sided? That's a nice transfer of the ball. Who has it? I think it's going to be Nassar at the back. And it's another try now for the Australians. They have just poured it on in the second half now. Georgia had that brilliant breakaway run, but it's going to be once again Fraser McWright. Is that his second or third of the match? I think it's his second. Mate, we shower outside. Here's Mr. Orlin. And up the Wales. Okay, I get it now. Says Peter Wild. And all good, but I thought I was fragile, but no, 37 or 35-7. Says Michael. What's your score prediction for South Africa versus Portugal? I was a bit harsh. I think I went about 52-16 or something. I think I went for that one. And 44-21 for the Bockies. Says Albert. Yeah, some brilliant players off the bench. Young debuts going to be coming for them as well. Hopefully they are all able to stand up. South Africa lose by 50 points, says Wayne Stretch. And I'm not underestimating Portugal, says Albert. Nice. And that's the thing, like throughout the World Cup, they were competitive. Oh, hang on, the TMO's checking something. Another TMO. Number 6 gold. That will be Rob Valentini, who would be penalised if there is obstruction. They've said that maybe he was in front of the ball catcher. South Africa lose 50 plus, definitely, says Wayne. Portugal won't win by that much, Hamish, says Peter Wild. Georgia on fire, says Patrick White. Right, we're going to see it here. Valentini, does he join the ruck before the man with the ball? Yes, he does. So that's going to be no try, unfortunately, for Josh Nasser. And box 50, Portugal 19. And if Japan can, Portugal can, says Fluffy. Yeah, although that's also going to be in South Africa, though, for this game. It's going to be obstruction, no try. Crowd aren't happy. It can happen because Portugal aren't that strong, hey? But I ain't saying they won't play a hell of a game, and Dr. Rassi is on it. Don't worry, mate, says Wade. And there as well, but it looks like Joe Schmidt a little bit frustrated about that one. Could have been a try. But Alex Hodgman now going to be making his way on. It's Golden Bloemfontein, says Albert there. Is it dry, though, or is it just chilly? Hopefully it's just chilly and we don't have a lot of rain. I mean, we've seen some of those under-20 games that have been taking place in Cape Town, and they've been absolutely bucketing down. But if the sun shines, it's nice on the field, says Albert. And yeah, I guess because it's an evening game, sun will go down relatively early, won't it, for that contest? Now, ready to throw this one in. Will Portugal bet Fiji, so they won't lose like 10 points to 0, says Patrick White. Now going short side here, Lopanidze gets it away, 40 metres out from the line for Georgia. They are still only down by 9. There was a moment earlier on that they decided to go for the 3 points rather than the 7. I wonder whether or not in the long run in this game, they may slightly regret that one, since at 5:30 local. Okay, so 30 minutes into the game when that sun starts to go down. Cape Town in winter is always wet, says Grant. Ball bounces out for Zane Ungor. Say that it was off the foot. It is play on, no, 100-0, says Patrick. Tie from Tate McDermott. Nicely taken to the back by, I believe that's going to be Mutkav. I don't think that we saw the return of Toldua. Did we see Toldua come back after getting kneed in the head from Dalgunu? So they only have to be 30 minutes in the game, says Daniel. And that's another penalty going the way of Australia, sealing off, coming from the Georgians. Just leaving their feet. Georgia now $10 underdogs for this contest, ladies and gents. So as this game gets closer to its conclusion, they slowly start to go further and further from coming back in this game. And Nick Frosty's had a really good game at number 4. Ben Donaldson does get it into touch again. That'll be about 7 metres from the line, comparing Cape Town weather to South Africa. It's like comparing Brisbane to Melbourne, says Albert in there as well. Yeah, Cape Town just seems to be on its own wavelength, I guess you could say, in terms of the weather. Now ready to throw this one in. It's going to be Nassar. And he almost scored a try earlier on, but it was disallowed. This time he gets it, although it's going to be Fraser McWright this time instead, who gets his second. So that is actually his second this time. And come on, Georgia, says Zion. He's going to be nicely taken to the back by, I believe that's going to be Mutkav. I don't think that we saw the return of Toldua. Did we see Toldua come back after getting kneed in the head from Dalgunu? So they only have to be 30 minutes in the game, They weren't quite able to succeed in that rolling maul the first time that they tried it in this half, but this time it has worked perfectly. Rob Valentini actually ended up in front again, but I believe he did end up getting pulled around after they did hit the ground here. Or did he? Tell you what, it's not a mile off from getting penalised for the exact same thing. Cape Town on its own, its own wavelength with everyone comparing, or everything compared to the rest of South Africa. A Kiwi coach equals improvement. Come on, Georgia, says Peter Wild, Damien McKenzie or Richie Mo'unga. In what context are we talking? The Wallabies should be controlling the game, should be rolling away from them, says Blues Nate. And up you Wallabies, says Wade. Wait, is that like encouragement or is that like offensive? Because it could go both ways, couldn't it? But is that like good job, Wallabies? Or is that like you suck, Wallabies? What one? Wait. And kicking, says Patrick. Now with 15 minutes left on the clock, Australians have now got themselves the lead up to 40, I believe they are up to now. In this game, 40 points to 26. Donaldson's been kicking very well. There is a knock-on from Georgia. Okay, Ninashvili is saying, I didn't touch the ball. Extremely frustrated at the moment, the Georgian number 15. We'll see if he touched it here. Yeah, I don't actually think he did touch that one, unfortunately. Now, Nick White is onto the field. 15 minutes left for him to replace McDermott. And McKenzie or Richie Mo'unga in kicking. Probably Mo'unga, but McKenzie, when he gets it right, he's very handy. Like for the All Blacks up against Fiji, I think he was about 7 from 8 or something along those lines, about 86%, who won the under-20s final. My son-in-law hasn't sent the report in yet, says Flesh. So in the end, it was the English who were able to win it, beating France in that final. It was a decent game. Rogers commentary, don't ask me anything, says Wade. Right, okay. Don't like questions. Sorry, that's a question. I'm not allowed to ask you that, am I? And what is the score, says Michael. The score at the moment is 40 points to 26, but the scoreboard has not quite updated. How does today's Wallabies team compare to teams against Wales? I mean, certain players I think have done better in this game, like McDermott, McWright, Wilson, and Valentini. Loose forward trio, I think, are definitely the ones that Australia should be going with. I think Nick Frost has had a great game. Their backline, without Callaway in the starting side, I think had a few things that they could improve on. Oh, it's a big run. And beautiful pass on the outside. Here comes Darby Lancaster. Again has been tackled. He just hasn't been able to get away from the opposition throughout this contest. And those English, says Flesh, Andre Pollard or Marnie Libok. Are you talking kicking this time or are you talking just in general? And Cheeky Hamish, always fun. I'll laugh for the chat, says Blues Nate. Oh, another big shot coming in. After Rob Valentini. Tackled again by the replacement halfback, Lobhanidze, kicking. Well, you probably go Pollard for the kicking, but in terms of, like, attacking threat, you probably go Marnie Libok. That's a nice backline movement. Great hands from the Aussies. Inside ball. Tried to find Callaway, but he has knocked it on. Wasn't able to re-get it. Oh, that's a big shot on Ninashvili, and that looked a little high from Alan Alatoa. This could be bad. You're going to have to check this one. Ninashvili was smashed there. It's just a penalty, but I believe they will have to check that one to see if it was legal. Right, they're saying that he didn't need to follow through so forcefully. So that is why it is a penalty, but just depend on whereabouts it hit him. And Tom Wright, he wanted that inside ball. We're going to see it here. Oh, it's just on the shoulder of Ninashvili. Nick Frost hitting him hard. That's a big shot. Amani, what about Hussein? Says Wade, although the question was just the head-to-head between the two, of course. But you're talking about attacking threat with Hussein, or you're talking goal kicking with Hussein? Sorry, that's another question. I'm not allowed to ask those. But hopefully you answer it. I would start Lebok against the Wallabies and have Sasha do the kicking from 15. Villian Pollard on the bench, says Albert. See, that's a very logical choice, to be honest. Like, in terms of, like, Lebok, one reason people don't want him in the starting side is because of that goal kicking. But if you have Ngume Zulu at 15, that solves quite a few of your problems. Georgia has 24 points, Wallabies not improving. Says Brian there. But how do you know Georgia haven't improved? And the Bok should try putting a Stormer shirt on the Bok just before he kicks for goal. I think it will improve his accuracy. I mean, it didn't in the quarterfinal of the URC, though, did it? Sorry, that's harsh, isn't it, Grant? That one will sting right deep. That's going to be a beautiful run forward now for the Georgians. Out wide, he's got pace. And Tabuzadze scores again for the Georgians. Hamish is Donna happy with New South Wales Blues wrapping up this year's series. I think she was very happy with their performance in Game 3. Definitely because after Game 1, it just seemed like they had no show. Honestly, I'd go for Andre to start and have Sasha have 15 and Mani for the bench. Says Daniel. Oh, yeah, I could see that one possibly working as well for them. I think that over the last maybe 2 months or so, though, everyone's opinions in terms of their starting side has all of a sudden ended up with Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu in there somewhere, which is quite cool to see. You shut your dirty little mouth, Hamish. No need to bring facts into this argument. Hussen's kicking is not good, but you know what he do best? Wear headgear, innit? Good morning, Hamish. Listening from England. Well done, the All Blacks go to the box. Says Joss. And well, Georgia, well, even if I don't win, or even if they don't win, they have to be proud with their performance. Yeah, they've really been competitive. And like they've said, some of the tries that they've scored are very good in this game. Off topic, but do you think there is hope for Wales? I'd say in a few years, yes, but for now, they're just in that real tough patch of, like, so little experience across their side, and I think it is going to hurt them quite a bit, but hopefully in future for the Welsh, it does kind of turn around a little bit. This, I believe, is going to make the score 31 points to 40. They were forever chasing that extra 9 points in this matchup here, Georgia. But they don't believe that they aren't going to have a chance of winning this, Georgia. Georgia's kicking is going to cost them the game. Says James Watt. Yeah, I should mention, sorry, I said that one had gone over. That one, unfortunately for them, has missed. And that's an 11-point difference. And because you got to think about when Pollard retires, who will take his place. It's actually interesting, though, because Pollard's a lot younger than people think he is. Like, everyone always thinks Pollard's mid-30s or, like, early 30s, but he's actually only just turned 30, I think. So he's still got another World Cup cycle in terms of 2027 and maybe 1 or 2 years after that, if he's the right man for the job, that is, and doesn't go overseas for some more money. And we have got the Australia's new coaches making the players work their behinds off, says Mark. And Wales making 2-1 over Queensland Reds. Must be the Reds kit. Change their kit to black, they win. Tell you what, Wales away kit. I don't know if Fleshin is still here, but that Welsh away kit is just absolutely beautiful. I think it's the yellow on it. I'm a sucker for yellow. That's going to be now Ben Donaldson almost through. A little bit of a counter-ruck there from the Georgians. Nick White having to fight for that ball, but just manages to keep it on the side of the Wallabies. Now Hunter Paisami across to Alex Hodgman. He's playing for the Reds throughout Super Rugby Pacific. Another run from Wilson. Oh, Lobhadnidze wanted the penalty. Yeah, he's 30. But when he retires, I will go for Jordan Hendricks or Sasha. Nice quick hands out to Derby Lancaster. Very, very excited to see Ruan Finta come off the bench against Portugal. He is an absolute beast. Says Albert. Irish back in the days, Hussein was better than Pollard. Says Wade. Though now it seems to be that Hussein, like, this sounds harsh, but I don't see him getting that Springbok chance at the moment. Like, he's probably missed the boat in terms of when he could have been in. I think that was mainly due to injuries in a time where he was at his best. Is that coach biting the microphone? I think he is. Not sure why he's doing that. I've never seen a Welsh away kit before. Have they ever played in the World Cup in a different colour, says Mark? I think they have had the alternative strip in that last Rugby World Cup. I can't remember who they played, though. I think it might have been Portugal that they wore the away kit for. Warren Gatland should have quit 5 years ago. So here's Ryan. And still is Pollard. And still is Pollard is only there for kick. So here's Wade. Giving up starting side predictions after the New Zealand selection. So here's Peter Wild. Is in after the announcement of their squad. We're actually going to have a few videos beforehand coming out of what we would go with our All Blacks XV just based off what we've seen in the first 3 games. Then we'll have the squad prediction as well. We've got quite a few videos based around the All Blacks coming up. Now, Wallabies in possession again, 7 minutes remaining in this contest. There's never been hope for Wales, and we like big depressing cloud around us, says Fleshin. But have you seen their away kit, Fleshin? It's lovely, that yellow and black. We have got their, they play Portugal in black, says Daniel. If you remember that, that's crazy, says Riley Bennett. It's been like a good while, Riley. Like at least, it was either World Cup or actually before World Cup that we last saw you, I believe, if I'm correct. I would take the blind head prop from Georgia any day, says Drink on the Moon. Georgia in the end managing to get themselves the scrum, yeah, bro, says Riley. Yeah, it's been quite some time, so hopefully you have been keeping well. Hamish, what are your thoughts on the new Rugby World Cup format for 6 pools of 4 teams, round of 16? I didn't think the format that they had was that broken, to be honest. Like, it worked well. The only concern I have is around a 16, you're going to see a lot of mismatches because there aren't 16 top sides in the world at the moment. Like, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of good sides and some very great sides, but I don't think there's 16 teams that, like, a round of 16. I get that it adds more suspense, though, but I think we're going to see a lot of one-sided games in the round of 16 and probably still mismatches anyway. That, you know, last World Cup, people were saying we should have seen the 2 games that took place as the quarterfinals in the finals, the semi-finals, but, yeah. One of the rugby coaches, or what do the rugby coaches do when the pitch flood? They send on the subs. Be right back, says Zion. And what have Wallabies been dominant in against Georgia since the last Welsh game? What needs improvement? So at the moment, I think it's just there's some precision that needs to be increased by the Australians. Their discipline is still a little bit of a concern for me as well, but other than that, like, they've made a lot of steps in the right direction. And even though this game is, like, a lot of points on the board, I would still argue that, like, Australia have still had some really, really strong moments throughout this game, moving up to the halfway line now for Georgia. If they score twice in the last 4.5 minutes, they will win this contest. Georgia again in a good run, says Daniel. Exactly right. This is doing heaps for Georgia in terms of their stocks and what is to come for this side. Looking for another offload. That's going to be Nina Chevalier. Once again, Australia trying to cause it to be a rolling maul. I agree with the mistakes or mismatches with 24 teams. Strength versus strength made this World Cup excellent at each stage, says Joss. It's going to be another advantage. I guess they are just trying to cover the bases of if they have 4 more teams, that is more of a World Cup, I guess you could say, because there are a few more teams that could be in there. Still, Georgians done well. They could become a top giant in the next 5 to 10 years. And Australia's biggest step in the right direction was booting Eddie Jones. Yeah, although their biggest step in the wrong direction was hiring him in the first place, wasn't it? Now 3.5 minutes left. Looks like more attention for Nick Frost. He's just got that cut under the eye that he's having to deal with at the moment. The penalty does go the way of Georgia for not rolling away. Is it because South African are very touchy that you cannot ask the question, says Marius? No, just Wade didn't like being asked questions. So I couldn't ask him anything. Even though I accidentally did twice. But yeah, he was just like, no questions, just do commentary. So we listened to Wade for about a minute and then we went back to doing questions. 3 minutes left now. Georgia, they need to try now with you, Grant. Says Wade. Like they've just said, Australia, 40 points on the board is good, but the 29 conceded is where they will want to make big improvements. Now looking for the rolling maul here for Georgia. Only 3 minutes left on the clock now to make next World Cup interesting. Tier 1 nations can't pick players more than 10 caps. for playing against tier 2 in pool games. What do you think? I don't think they'll do it. Just because then it's fine if the top team win, but if the top team lose, then if that's the reason that they miss out is because they weren't allowed to play their good team up against a low-ranked team. That's a great take from Tom Wright, catching that ball from one knee. Yep, that's true, Hamish, says Wade. And then I want an interception. That is a match saver right there for the Aussies. Because if Tom Wright hadn't hung on to that and Australia had conceded just then to the Georgians, could have been completely different. Warren Gatlin sending this young Wales lad to New Zealand, play NBC next month. Says Blues Nate. Now it's going to be cleared by the Australians. 1 minute 50 now left. Can Georgia get within 7 in this matchup? It would have probably been a forward pass from Mutt Carver anyway, but still would have been pretty impressive. That looks like Angus Blythe. No, that's Darby Lancaster. In fact, he's also got that cut under the eye. He hasn't really had the game that I thought he would, to be honest. I think he's been a bit lackluster in this match. Not true. Says Blues Nate. Nicely thrown in by Georgia. 22 metres out. 80 seconds to work. Ninashvili thought about the offload, but he is tackled by Alan Alalatoa Lopadnidze. Can they break through? 3 points wouldn't do it for them. What about if they were psychedelic? Says Drink on the Moon. I think Gatlin would need permission for those from those Welsh parents. Send off those toddlers on their own. Says Grant, they've got another advantage here, Georgia, but that doesn't really matter. They need the try, and they need it now. Ninashvili tries to go through, and he's still making his way forward. Drops it off. Lopadnidze goes across there, but Georgia, if they can score at this very moment, they could still win this game. Lopadnidze again goes around the side, but that was obstruction because he ran in front of the player, so they are going back for the original penalty, which would just about use up the rest of the time on the clock. Georgia are getting close, says Daniel. But yeah, they needed to score then, but they weren't able to. Ruan Fenta is the next Buckius Botha. Says Albert, if Georgia actually kicked well, says James, what if they actually kicked? Oh, that one's gone dead from the Georgian side. I believe that will now be a 22 dropout for the Australians or a scrum. And this try could be for a win or a tie, says James Watt. Wallabies becoming second tier, although the fact that they kicked that ball out dead kind of, I guess, ruined their chances a little bit. And clock goes red. Georgia need to score, says Daniel. An interesting thought process. I need to ponder at that idea, says Peter Wild. Well, Georgia give Australian drumming. And terrible kick, says Salah. And you drew that Grant, get up to mischief. It looks like we are 11 points difference between these two sides, and that looks like it's going to be how it stays at the end of this match. Now, I should mention we have got plenty more rugby around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. South Africa versus Portugal is happening a little bit later on tonight. That is at 3 a.m. New Zealand time. We will be live covering that game. A free kick goes the way of Australia. Nick White takes the tap, kicks it into touch, and that will be the end. Australia go 3 wins in a row at the moment. He was swearing at one of his teammates there for a second there, Nick White. Not sure what happened between those two. That's true. As per Hamish, nothing happens in New Zealand. And Benj might need a good look for Joe heading to the Rugby Championship and Australia win by. Good efforts from the Beardies. Yeah, very valiant effort from the Georgians in this contest. Darby Lancaster looks like he's a little bit banged up after being out on the field for 80 minutes. But they are able to get themselves the win by 11 points in the end, the Australians. They will take that every day of the week. Now moving on to the Rugby Championship, where they will be playing South Africa in 21 days' time. To wait and see how that one ends up going. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure, of course, to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It was greatly appreciated you all being here for this match. Nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. We'll see you all for the next one.